After watching this trailer today of Star Wars Outlaws, you should be very worried about this game. There's a few things going on within this trailer that are very concerning, and there's a few things outside of this that are just making it all worse. Now, I won't lie to you guys, after watching the gameplay trailer, I actually felt pretty good about this game. The gameplay looked pretty good, and the seamless transition from walking out of the cantina to the ship to flying up through the clouds and into space, I mean, that's beautiful, right? We have seen a trend over the last few years of movies flopping, of games flopping, and I really think this one is it might be on the same path. And if you haven't seen the gameplay trailer, you can go check out this video here if you want to watch it. But let's watch the trailer together, and if you've already seen it, just skip to the next chapter.
Each of you represents some of the most powerful criminal organizations in the galaxy. Pikes, Crimson Dawn, Huts.
There are a lot of aliens, which is good.
For the underworld. The Empire controls every corner of the galaxy, but they're distracted by a rebellion that won't quit.
And we got
It's
the
an
original clone
opportunity
troopers.
to make millions.
I ain't gonna lie, I think the fur coat kind of doesn't look good on that guy.
We meet at last.
What do you want?
Zarek Besh. They're new, rich, and lethal. You crossed their boss Sliro, and now he wants you gone. Rob his fortune and buy your.
All right. Also, this community here, this underworld crime ring, is completely made up by this Star Wars developer. Doesn't really matter, but side note for you guys.
Freedom.
This job, it's a death wish. I'm in.
Out here, you live and die by your reputation. You want to survive? Know the players.
You're new to this world.
What's your problem?
Come back when you're not.
Jabba, right? Look, don't try anything. I got a whole crew surrounding this. Okay, we're skipping that part.
For about as long as I can remember, it's just been me and Nix. Doing what we have to survive. This job is my one shot at freedom. But if we're gonna pull this off, we need the right crew. And the right ship.
A lot of cheesy jokes.
I hire you because you are one of the best hunters in the Outer Rim.
She's more connected than you let on, Sliro. Bess is mixed up in something bigger.
The Outer Rim is a dangerous place. Everyone is fighting for their piece of the galaxy. But all I want is to live free. So I'm gonna risk it all. Hold on, Nick!
Star Wars Outlaws pre-order available now.
There you have it. Available August 30th. So here's the thing, right? We watched the gameplay trailer. We watched this one. Looks fine, right? From the surface. The surface level, it looks fine. It looks good. It gives you that iconic Star Wars feel. But here's the problem. You've got to look deeper than the surface on these things, guys. We've been around a long time, right? We've seen a lot of game trailers. We've all been hyped for games that are coming out, right? And my first problem with this is they're preying on our nostalgia, man. They're preying on it. Now they've set the game right in between, I believe, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? Which is cool. That's my favorite era during the Clone Wars, right? We're going into the Civil War. But here's the thing. We've got Han Solo in here, and we've got Jabba the Hutt, and of course we've got the cruisers, and they even brought out the sandworm. Not from the original Star Wars. The sandworm from Dune. From Dune, guys. They brought the sandworm from the Dune movies. No, I'm just kidding. It's the sandworm from the original Star Wars movies, right? But this is my point with it. The thing with this is They're trying to bait us in with this, man. They want us to get stuck on this nostalgic feel. They could have just created a whole new universe within Star Wars, but they're really trying to play it safe with this one after the massive flop of Skull and Bones, and they're adding all of these nostalgic characters to pull at our heartstrings and make us want to buy this game, right? And I ain't gonna lie, it's working a little bit. I want to see Jabba the Hutt in there. I want to see Han Solo. I want to see these Imperial cruisers, right? It works, but it's all surface level, all right? Which leads me on to point number 2. Listen. I've watched a lot of videos on this game, guys. There's only about 6 from Ubisoft. I've watched other people break down these trailers. I've spent a lot of time researching all of this for you guys, all right? To give you good information. And here's the thing. The thing with game trailers, right? The first thing you got to look for is gameplay. Now, they did good. They dropped a gameplay trailer. So they actually showed what the in-game physical content's going to look like and gave us a glimpse of what the game's going to feel like, right? And it looked pretty fun. But here's the thing. This is an open world RPG game, story-driven, and an action shooter, right? They're trying to hit all those big categories, everything basically except battle royale and a damn MMO. They're trying to hit all these categories. And the thing with these RPG open world games, you've got to have really good systems in place, all right? And they have not touched on any systems really in the game other than this one video from the devs. So in the developer breakdown of the gameplay here, they touch on a couple features that are going to be included, right? So they talk about the progression. So when I'm talking about systems in an RPG game, we're talking about things like, what is the leveling system like? Do we even level up? What kind of progression does that entail, right? So they broke this down here. All they said was that you're going to be able to upgrade your blaster to incorporate new pieces of it. Well, how does that work, right? They're not really explaining a lot of the core features and fundamentals of the game, which I feel like for most people, if you're even considering buying this, that's a huge factor, right? That's a huge factor. Whether you want a system maybe like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where we've got levels, we've got different gear, and within that gear, you've got different rarities of gear. You can find gear throughout the maps, and you can even upgrade the gear. I mean, do we have something like that here? Or is it more just one set of gear? Maybe you can change the cosmetics, probably through microtransactions. And then for the upgrades on the blaster, I mean, what is that? Do we have to collect money to get that? Do we, complete challenges to unlock these? Is there, I mean, at the very start of the dev breakdown, they basically explain what this mission is, and you're trying to steal some priceless artifact for a high amount of credits that would be quote-unquote desperately needed, right? So what are we going to be able to buy? And that kind of leads me to another system here with the ships, right? We see the ship, you're able to go and fly, get in it and fly, and then while she's in the air, in space, you can see here, right? We've got a few pieces down here like shields, health, a few abilities, rockets. I mean, do we have to buy ammo? Is it unlimited? Do we have to upgrade these? Or can we upgrade these? Can we upgrade the ship? Does it change cosmetically? I mean, I would love nothing more than to see a system like Assassin's Creed Black Flag with the ship upgrading in that, but with this type of ship system in space. I mean, come on. It wouldn't get better than that, man. They tried some crappy half-ass system with Skull and Bones, and it was horrible, right? But with this, I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. Now, another piece I want to talk about with systems. We can see these vast open world settings here, right? But, I mean, it seems to me like you're able to go pretty much anywhere, right? It's an open world RPG game. But the thing with that is you have to be rewarded very well for exploration, or people just are not going to do it. If it's a waste of time, they're not going to do it. So then that leads to the other systems that I've brought up, right? The gear, the weapons, the upgrades, credits. Like, how do these systems play? Like, give us some kind of glimpse on this so we have a better understanding, right? And if players are not properly rewarded for exploration, I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to do it. but I love exploring the world, right? I explored every single cave in Skyrim ever because there was so many unique items and so many things to find, and you were rewarded for literally doing anything. You go off the path for 1 second and you're finding something that has rewarded you to go off that path and lead down that new quest that you have just set upon, right? That's all with systems. Now, my next point here is it seems like this game is going to be more story based because they haven't went over any of the systems, right? I can only go off of what they have shown us, which is a very story driven game. Now, when we look at this, right, the story of this game, quote unquote, they say you're a smuggler, you start from nothing and you have to build your way up, and reputation is the most important thing. That's what they've touched on very highly. So what I'm concerned about with this is once you beat the story once, you know, what do you do, right? What's the end game look like? Is there rewards to unlock at that point? Do I need to restart the game and try to replay the story? Now, they do show here that you can either bribe or do not bribe the Empire officer, right? They've been deeply embedded into the underground syndicates and the crime lords and crime rings. But my concern with this is, what kind of implications does it actually have on your storyline? If this isn't done correctly, then it's going to, I believe, completely ruin the game. Now, you got to think about this. If she does bribe him, maybe she's in good standing with the Empire, which leads her down a certain path. Then at the end of the game, maybe you go through and you're able to play a different path with maybe different outcomes, somewhat like Cyberpunk does, or some of these other games that do it very well. But if it's very rudimentary and cookie cutter and it doesn't have any real effect on the story in a open world RPG game, then I think it's just going to be more of a nuisance and it's not really going to make the game feel better. And the way I look at any kind of feature in the game is, does it make the game more fun to play? If it does, add it. If it doesn't, then do not add it. Now here is the big kicker, boys and girls. The price tag on this game. Just take a second and soak this in. So I want to break this down for you, and this is basically how developers are bending us over, and you know what happens after that, right? The base game is $69.99, $70. The budget for this game was probably massive, and they have to recoup a tremendous amount of money. Compared to a game like Helldivers that came in at $40, was a huge success, or Palworld that came in at, I believe, $30. And that was a huge success. These guys cannot afford to do that because they have to recoup their money, right? But you have to think about, I mean, it's basically an industry standard now for AAA games. They're not going to lower their prices. I promise you that. They're only going to go up from here. So when you're making an investment, you got to think about the average gamer, right? They're either kids or teenagers or people that just don't have a ton of money. Now, obviously, it doesn't go for everybody. But the majority of players are younger and teen, right? And they don't have jobs, they're not working. But here's where it gets a little interesting. For a measly $40 extra, guys, you get the season pass for the game. So we're up from the industry standard of $20. And then, hallelujah, we get to play 3 days early, guys. Christmas came early. It's absurd. Now, not only that, if you want to really absolutely wail out on this game for a pre-order, coming in at a whopping $130, you get the season pass, you get 3 days early access, the base game, and then you get the Rogue Infiltrator bundle, the Shark bundle, and the art book. Now, if we look at these, including cosmetics for Kay, Nyx, the Speeder, and the Trailblazer spaceship. Shark bundle, including cosmetics for Kay and her blaster, Nyx, the Speeder, and the Trailblazer spaceship. They've confirmed it. Microtransactions will be littered into this game, right? We're not new to this. It was no surprise. I would be more surprised if they didn't do it, honestly. So I'm not mad at that. I already saw it coming. But it's like, okay, hey, you want to drop $140 for a game? Well, you're going to get some cool skins for a single-player offline RPG game. What's the point? Now, I mean, I guess this is one positive thing I can say here about it. If you pay the $17.99, You get the 3-day early access, you get the season pass, you get all the bundles and the base game. So I think the real strategy here for them is essentially they are trying to push people into Ubisoft Plus, just like Xbox is trying extremely hard to push people into Game Pass. And honestly, guys, I believe even with all the drama going on around about how you do not own your games anymore and the Crew Motorsport shut down after only a few years, and there was a whopping 12 million player count on that game at one point. And you know what? They said, screw you, we're going to shut the game down, and you do not own it anymore. All the money you've put into it, any microtransactions, gone out the window. We don't care. We got our money. We got in. We got out. So they're basically trying to move to a system here. And just like the World Economic Forum told us, ladies and gentlemen, you will own nothing and you will be happy. So there it is. We own nothing, guys and girls. We own nothing. And we're going to be happy about it. Not really, because we just don't have a choice. We will not have a choice to be happy or not. There's only one option, is to rent everything and own nothing. So I guess what I would do, my recommendation for you guys, is save your money. Just buy the $17.99, play the game, beat it, be done with it. And then you've seemingly paid $18. If it takes you 30 days to beat the game, well, there you go. You got 30 days worth of time to play it. You get all the bundles, all the cosmetics, and then maybe you want to drop even more money. I'm sure they'll have some more in the game that you can buy. Now, I told you guys not everything was about the trailers. There's one other piece here that is just the cherry on the top of the whole situation. And this is honestly a complete and utter humiliating joke for Ubisoft and all games that are currently coming out, whatever, right? The whole gaming industry as a whole. This is a huge humiliation. So what we have here, guys, if you haven't seen, I don't know if you'd care about this, right? But it affects the game. So essentially, to sum up this story, and I've got proof here to back it up, we have a community manager named Shauna Jones who is being paid by Ubisoft to promote this game. Her job is to make the game positive news around this game to help it sell and make money. That is her job as a community manager, right? But she seemingly decided to go to Twitter and essentially call the gaming industry a giant racist, right? If you want to read all of this, I will link this down below if you care enough. But the thing with this, guys, listen, what is Ubisoft thinking, right? They're paying someone to manage a community for Star Wars Outlaws. You can see it right here. My job entails the following: content creation, Discord engagement, build and develop relationships, reporting on community, highlighting weak signals, researching industry-related topics, reacting, engaging, and replying to the community, providing training when and if needed, and writing and editing articles for publication. She's also worked on Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Just Dance, Riders Republic, and the worst of them all, Skull and Bones, which was a utter disaster, right? So here's the thing. She went to Twitter, and it's not good, guys. It's not good. It's not good. She basically called out Ninja. We all know the blue-haired Fortnite player. He's extremely big, right? But she called him out for basically saying he has white privilege, and he should be using his influence not to play the game and, you know, create entertaining content for the kids that he streams and makes content for. No, he should be using his influence for one single task, which is the use your platform for good if you have the opportunity and support our wokeism. Now look, I'm not here to say that she is right or wrong. I do not care about politics, right? Obviously it's affecting our games, it's affecting our movies. Disney's in the gutter right now, but that's a whole other point for another video. My point with this is, what is Ubisoft doing paying someone who is supposed to be promoting your game, and she's essentially coming out and saying in these tweets that the game surrounding Star Wars Outlaws and the development of it is nothing but white privileged people. There's not enough diversity in it. She's basically saying, if you're white, do not buy this game because you are opposing her side and you're opposing diversity. I mean, what is this? It's a video game. It's being created to escape reality and have fun. People don't want to go home and hop on a game where they're being fed politics. When are they going to learn this? I mean, don't put any politics into it. Leave it all out of it. We play games to have fun, not go dive into politics. Oh, it may not seem like a big deal to you guys, but the reason this is just irking me a little bit, it's just ridiculous, right? How long is this going to go on? I just want to play games. I want to have fun. I've been playing games my entire life. If I wanted to watch and see politics, I would go watch the news and be fear-mongered. I'm not doing that for games, right? So I don't care if she's right about it or if she's wrong about it. That's its own point, right? My point with it is just leave all the politics out of games. I don't care about it. I want to hop on the game to play and have fun. So that's all I got. Tell me what you guys think.